Acevedo Aesthetics Corp. This is Made in House. It's the show where we chat through various topics on design, culture, and the business of creativity. Now say hello and welcome Kary and Angel.
Okay, clap it again. Welcome to Made in House, everybody.
Angel has this thing where he just likes to clap when he starts certain things.
Well, it gets, the excitement, the energy going.
Yeah.
After a small hiatus,
Yeah.
we're back
So
that we can go on another hiatus.
Guys, we missed the last release.
Yes.
We do every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
But I was sick. I got a cold. And so we weren't able to do it. So here we are. We rescheduled. And it's part of the season that we're in. We're committed, but we're also flexible.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Angel, today we are going to just have a conversation around our work.
Okay.
And what we're doing. We're going to catch everybody up with what we're doing, how it feels, highs and lows of our work.
Right.
Before we get into our topic, though, would you like to shout out anybody say anything?
I want to send a special shout out to me for setting up this podcast every time. And I really want to send a shout out to all the Made in House members, the housemates.
Housemates, we love you guys.
We love you guys.
Special shout out to Eric.
Shout out to Eric.
Odom. I think it's
Oh,
Odom.
Eric. Yeah. Eric.
Yeah, man. He's like super supportive.
He's the OG, man.
And honestly, we appreciate it. We notice you guys, like, these names keep coming up. And we appreciate you guys for being on a journey with us.
Yeah. And we're actively, I think in this time that we're going to take a break, we're going to actively see how we can maximize the memberships for you guys and make sure that we're giving you guys value. We understand that sometimes we go radio silent for like a couple weeks, and it's this is literally in our house. We have a baby. We're running multiple businesses, which is what we're going to talk about today. So we really appreciate your patience, and I hope that all the resources we have given you have been valuable to you for the rest of the year. So we don't necessarily need to add more items.
That's not the goal.
No, but we're super thankful. We're super thankful for you guys. And so we're going to talk today about just some of the challenges that we've been sort of faced while trying to do simultaneous gigs. Right, Kary?
Yeah.
So I was going to say, let's jump into it. Any other shout outs you want to make? Anything else you need to add?
I think that's it. I think we're going to talk about what we've been up to, and that's probably all the shouting out we got.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Angel, let's start with you because you've been busy.
Oh boy. And
what have you been up to? Tell us.
Well, you guys, so we let me talk about me. Let me answer the question directly. Yes. I have been working on growing and systemizing the God is a Designer project. I like the word project. I like to call it a project. It is, we're an LLC and we have all our sort of things in place, but I like the word project because projects never end. They're always changing and they're always evolving.
Love.
Which is a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing because then that means the stability of like your aesthetics sort of always change. I just had a meeting today with Sadie, which we love Sadie. She helps us with social media and on Made in House and God is a Designer and some of our other stuff. So, and I was telling her that a lot of the times many times whenever I'm into some kind of design frenzy or some kind of design style, it's like I go all in, but then I switch it up every month. And what it causes an issue with like systemizing the Instagram account, let's say, that she has to run. So, building God as a Designer, maintaining God as a Designer is what I'm sort of focusing on. Hopefully I'm answering your question very specifically, Kary. And the challenge is I am, as a business owner, I am juggling multiple things. And I can't get so caught up in the weeds that I don't have fun, right?
Right.
At the same time, I can't get caught up just making cool stuff that I lose the operational side of things. So I think the phrase for the end of this season for us, I think for both of us, it would apply is, for me, I'm personally learning how to work on the business, not necessarily in the business. And it's one of those things that it's a constant conflict and it's constant friction. Yeah. So it's interesting because made in house, it's obviously something that we do, but Kary usually handles the workload, the sort of maintaining it. Cause I feel like where I helped was like the original launch, making the graphics and the branding and setting everything up and getting the Premiere file ready and getting Dell on board and all the sort of technical aspects of it. But Kary sort of handles a lot of the day-to-day for made in house. So I feel like, and this is being completely transparent, I feel like I want to say I don't have the capacity to like do as much as Kary does. Kary can handle so much at the same time. And it's like, God as the designer takes so much of my time that I want to be able, I think in this next season coming up, I want to be able to figure out a way where I can step into made in house again. And it's funny that I'm saying that because we're in it, right? We're doing it together. But I'm talking about more like behind the scenes and sort of support on the made in house side of things. So it's a long-winded answer to say I am working on God as a designer. We are systemizing certain things. We're changing certain things. Kary challenged me, I want to say a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where she gave me, hey, I gave you all these tools. We needed a team. I gave you the team. We needed systems. I gave you the systems, Trello, which I hate so much. I'm just kidding. Trello's great. But she gave me all the systems. Now it's a matter of like applying a lot of these things and not necessarily just running, what do you call it? Coasting or being sort of complacent, So does that answer? What do you think about that answer?
Why are you saying it like that, though?
What do you think about that, Kary?
Okay, so I have this thing with Angel where like when I watch our episodes back, like it's like I'm asking him a question and he just goes off on a tangent and like will either maybe answers my question.
I go off the rails.
So then I'm just like, well, what's the point of me asking the question?
I just want to make sure I answer the question.
So, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all know now that you're working on Gaia.
Yes.
And you mentioned something that has actually been course correcting for both of us, which is working on the business, not working in the business.
Right.
I actually, the first time I heard that phrase was, I was reading a book. Man, I forgot the name of it. I have it in my shelf somewhere. It's about a small business. But then we heard it again when we read the book Profit First. And he mentioned it again. And so we read that earlier this year, I think in January. So it's kind of been top of mind for us. And like I said, course correcting, meaning like there's days and there's moments when we have to choose to work on the business and not in the business. What that means is working in the business for us is making things, all the fun things, all the things we love to do. Working on the business is all the stuff that we don't necessarily enjoy doing.
Right.
It's more the operational business aspects of actually running a business and making sure that it's successful. So that's what Angel means. And in this season right now, he's very much working on the business. I think we both are.
Yeah.
And something that I was talking to you about yesterday, actually, because you were like, what's the word? Like complaining kind of like you were like disgruntled because you were like, oh, it's already noon and I haven't done anything. Yet we did a bunch of stuff. Like we were doing things, but sometimes you can look at your day and your calendar and it's filled with a lot of things that you need to do and feel like you're not being productive. And what I was telling Angel is that I've had to reframe my mindset on what I consider productivity to be, because for me, I think for us creators, productivity is making something, sitting on the computer and actually thinking and having fun on the computer,
right.
And that's productivity. But when I'm there, like making a social media post or like on Trello or writing to our accountant or following up with the team or whatever, like that stuff just does not feel like I'm being productive.
Yeah.
Yet that's all part of everything we do need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to reframe my mindset, because for me specifically, like, I have like a love-hate relationship with social media. And so I'll sit there, I'm like, I have to make content. and I know that people talk about, having a content day and planning ahead, and I get all of that. But me spending a whole day making content for social media is like a wash.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to retrain my mind and say, no, this is part of my work. This is part of what I have to do.
Right.
And so it's helped me in the season. I think it's something that we're both doing
Yeah.
to help us just navigate and like be able to do the things that we want to do. Because the reality of why we started this business wasn't so we could get rich and do stuff we don't want to do. It's so we could do the things we did want to do.
Right.
Right. It's just, it comes with a package like anything else in life. And so we're learning, navigating all of that stuff.
Yeah. And it's interesting that I feel like there has been a shift on my mind. You're talking about content day.
Yeah.
I guess it all really depends where you are in your, not journeyman, not be the right word, but like where you are mentally, because I stopped posting on Instagram as much because I was second guessing everything that I posted, and I didn't necessarily have a strategy of what I wanted to post, and I wanted to be free to post whatever I wanted. The same thing for God as a designer, like the aesthetic look or whatever. And for sure, I think content days are very valuable. Me personally, I don't know, at least for my stuff, right? For my Acevedo stuff. I feel like I let go of that. Like, this just happened in the last month. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like post design and post pictures and design and pictures and whatever. And whoever follows, and whoever doesn't. It's kind of freeing in that way. And that I feel like it was a mental, I was like bound to the algorithm, and I was reading a post that someone posted, one of these, on the Explore page. I saw, how you sometimes scroll. It said, don't hide your like counts because it comes off as disingenuous, right? And I was worried about that. I would hide the like counts. Oh, this didn't do good. I'm just going to, whatever. And there's something freeing about it. Yeah, that it's not you, it's the algorithm that doesn't show your stuff, So what I'm saying is that I feel like you and I are probably in different, at least for my personal stuff, we're in different sort of seasons in that way, and I think it's totally fine. For the God as a Designer Instagram, we do have a little bit more of a structure, and I spoke to just Sadie today about all the upcoming things that we have coming, and I think for a business, I have to have some kind of game plan of how we're gonna post. But, and I'll share a weakness of mine is I just want to post when I want to post. Like if I'm inspired with something, I just want to design it and post it. It's that balance of, sure, let's have a little bit of fun, but also you got to make sure that you have like a solid system in place that you can fall back on when you don't have the fun things that you can post. Would you agree?
I want to say I'm very proud of you for scheduling a meeting with your content creator without
Sadie,
my input.
Sadie, it's funny because I'm always apologizing to Sadie. I'm like, Sadie, I'm so sorry, because she's very organized. She puts stuff in Trello and like she slacks, and we have a DM like and I there's in Spanish is despistado. What's the word in English? Aloof, maybe
a little bit,
maybe, where or I just forget about certain things or whatever, and I have things in my mind that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this first and I'll get to that. But yeah, today I apologized to her. She was like, maybe we can do this bi-weekly, and to have touch points bi-weekly. She's like,
totally
I'm like, let's do bi-weekly.
I love that about her, because it shows that she genuinely wants to do a good job. And so usually people are like, no, we don't need to meet, like no more things on my schedule. But she's totally down to like make it like whatever we need to like make it work, And so I love that because she'll say the same thing to me, like, oh, maybe we should do this so that I can be more in the loop and stuff like that,
And at the same time, she's someone that she's a friend of ours, and we go to crew together, and she's someone that I think that we're mentoring, because she's younger than us and earlier in her business. But I was just telling her today a little bit about the tone of God as a designer, because it's something that I'm building a DNA deck that I've been talking about on the Maiden House since like season 1. This DNA deck that has not been finished, you guys. All right, it happens to all of us. All right.
I finished mine.
Did you finish?
I did.
Oh, well, I'm just saying to the
Okay.
rest of us. Okay.
All right.
In my God as a designer deck, DNA deck, that's what Kary called it, which I love. I am including there a section that talks about the tone of God as a designer, where I'm able to, whenever we post or whenever we share something, what's the tone of the brand. So today, I meant to like send her the deck, and I told her, I was like, Sadie, I'm just gonna tell you what the tone is. The tone is business casual. So the tone is not like friendly, exclamation points, emojis, super happy, whatever. That's how I talk. But the brand does not talk that way. The brand is a little bit more cold. There's a little bit more straightforward. I think, for example, I always talk about the Vacation Inc. brand, the Vacation brand, which is a sunscreen brand, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. They do such a great job of world building. And if you look at a lot of their Instagram posts, the way they talk, I mean, their copy is just outrageous. Like, I don't know. They've been doing this since before AI. Before AI was about, they were doing incredible storytelling. So I 100% know that they hired like an incredible copywriter for this world building. And I love that. And the way they treat their customers, they call them like employees, as they're part of this corporate conglomerate of like this sort of tiki, like corporate retreat. And then they'll have like a bunch of copy about, come and join us or whatever. Super cool. And I love that. So for God as a designer, I treat all the customers as part of like the Dota Bureau of Creation sort of team. So that's the kind of language that I use,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I want to kind of include them.
I can't wait to see this DNA deck.
I know.
Because one of the challenging things with Gaia is that it exists in Angel's brain. And I understand some of it, but I'm not the creator and the founder of it. So I ultimately cannot scale it and grow it much outside of like what Angel has already built, because it's in Angel's head. So getting that stuff downloaded from Angel's head into a document, the reason why it's a document is because we need help. We can't do this stuff on our own. And in order to bring people on the team and have them be able to execute things confidently, because you want to bring people on and you want them to feel like, I got this, I understand it. It needs to be in a deck,
Right.
that we can copy and paste and share.
Yeah.
And so
It's just good business to do that. It's just good
I
business.
think it's also like a really good way for the creative to exercise really formulating their thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've kind of been understanding about being creative is that the creatives that are really good with formulating their thoughts and communicating are the best creatives. Those are the ones that make the best work, because you have clarity. And so it even goes back to like the way that you would in the future make a decision about the aesthetic of a post. Very much has to do with the decisions that you've made on that DNA deck,
Right.
So it's like once you've formulated the meaning and the thought in your head, you put it on paper, you've made a decision. I don't know, I'm geeky and nerdy about those things,
Yeah.
because I'm like very like,
Yeah.
how do I optimize this stuff? But I'm actually really excited to see it. I know it's going to be in progress, I think, for a few years,
Sure.
if I'm honest, because we're building this thing. And I think the vision that you have for it is really big. However, I'm just excited to see it on paper because I want to see the freaking vision.
Yeah.
I want to see what's in your head.
And I am, I'm going to make, what do you call it? Not a declaration, but what's the word?
Like a motto, a mantra.
No, I'm going to make a definitive, promise. Like
I don't know. You want to put?
I'm
you want to
saying
go on
is-
the record with that?
on the record,
Okay.
before next Maiden House season,
Angel. Okay, I'll hold you accountable to it.
I'm going to have the
And we'll present
alpha,
it.
the alpha version of the DNA deck.
Can we present it?
Yeah,
or
and we'll
it's-
present it, yeah.
It's too encoded for it.
No. I think we can present it. We
Okay.
can present it. I already started, like, I already started like the bones of it, but I am gonna, because there's a lot of things that I want to add to it eventually in the future. But I feel like we can do it. We can go over the deck and show, hey, this is the world of God as a designer, and this is where we're at. This is how we talk. This is how we feel. This is how we see.
Yeah.
This is how we smell, and like.
How we smell. I love that.
And one last thing about world building is, and here's just 2 points. One is, speaking of like the Dota Bureau, right? This bureau that I've spoken about before.
See, it's the first time I hear him say that. So when he says it, I understand. Like I picture it and I imagine us in like this world that's like very machine, but organic at the same. You know. So
well, I've spoken about it before. How it was inspired really, the game Control, and how they have this Federal Bureau of Control. And like this brutalist architecture, that's how I feel it could be. And it's like this bureau, I call it the Bureau of Creation, where we did the DOTA seal, the Department of Design and Aesthetics seal. And it's like this sort of entity, or this sort of federal entity of just creatives that make the world work with their design, right, or whatever. So I was talking to Overset Text, Ram, a shout out to Ram. He does these sort of retro looking posters. I'll put the links in where the links go. And I'm already talking to him, so he can make break room quasi inspirational posters. So like inspirational posters that are sarcastic and funny. We already talked about it. We're gonna do it. It's probably gonna be for Q3 or Q4 of 2024. But he's already in, so he's gonna make these sort of like retro looking posters that are gonna be like inspirational. Like hang in there. You know, have you seen those posters?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Kind of like that for like the employee break room, which I think is gonna be super cool. You know,
I love that.
So
So fun.
yeah, all that to say, I always say all that to say. But my next part to that was, Kary has been holding me accountable to not getting derailed, not derailing myself from all these ideas that I have. Because ideas are easy to come by, and you can like, you're working on something and then you switch to work on something else. I've been really proactive trying to stay the course, and then when I can, introduce new ideas or go. So, because I mean, if I'm just doing new things, if I'm always starting and never finishing, I'm never gonna get anywhere. So that is God as a designer. It's hard to say sometimes. I'm really excited about what's coming, and for Kary to continue holding me accountable. I really need you, babe. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're doing really good.
What about you, Kary? What is it that you're working on? Because I see you crushing it with courses and Instagrams and lives. Tell me, what are you working on?
I am up to holding you accountable.
Right.
Okay.
That's like 50% of her job.
No. To be honest, though, Angel and I, he mentioned it. We had a convo. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was a good convo. It wasn't like nobody was upset. We were just being honest, you know. Where I was kind of sharing, like, "Hey, Angel, I don't mind, like helping in some of these instances. I just can't do it all the time when it comes to like project managing and making sure that things are happening with Gaia. And when I say that, it's like our team, production, scheduling, communication, whatever. And so Angel since has been like grinding and like stepped up. And I don't mean stepped up in a way that like he was snacking before.
Right.
I think you just got more focused. And a really great thing about our relationship, I think, is that when we have those honest combos, we love each other enough to like do the thing that the other person's asking for. So thank you, baby.
Thank you.
Because you've taken on more of a proactive approach, and you've really tried to be very focused on the things that you need to do for Gaia, on working on your business. I've been able to do more of the brand building that I'm doing right now for Karielys, which I'm building something from the ground up, and I'm figuring it out as I go. I've talked on here about I want, doing courses. I want to educate. I want to teach. And I don't necessarily know why. Like I wasn't like when I was little, I was never like, I want to be a teacher. But I've really come to enjoy teaching and sharing my experiences. I know why.
Why?
And I've shared it before, I think, on this podcast. When I was starting out, I just had a hard time finding answers to things.
Right.
I couldn't really source what I needed. It was very difficult for me. And even now, like, there's more access now, but sometimes I even feel like alone, like with the business stuff, like being creatives and running a business in Miami.
Right.
And succeeding. How many people do we know? I can think of a few, but you know what I mean? That are in that category that can help us. So that's why I'm very passionate about teaching, but I'm building it. So I spend a lot of time with the infrastructure of the company and naming and what the namings mean. And like I taught a class last week on the creative brief, and even figuring out my teaching schedule
Right.
and the marketing of those things, the pricing of it all, the presentation of it, my communication, you know, getting better at the way I communicate and say my words with my bilingual brain, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, and that's all for Karielys. And I'm really excited about it. I think I'm working on a teaching schedule now, figuring out like if I'm going to teach once a month, if I'm going to do it live, the setup for that live class. I need to finish my creative direction course, which I kind of put a little bit on pause to test these mini classes to see if there's even an audience for it, you know, and it's been going good. So that's what I've been up to. And you guys know I do other work for the Wild Center.
Right.
I do work for VU. And VU, especially in this season, is going to take up a good amount of my time because we're starting to get into that season where we do these like really big gatherings and projects. So I'm going to have to like navigate all that. But I've been building infrastructure basically.
Good.
For Karielys.
Let me ask you, are you, I feel like I know the answer, but do you consider yourself an introvert? Like,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Okay. You guys heard this. I just want to say that I am extremely proud of what you have done and who you've become, knowing that you're an introvert, because the things that Kary does, I equate it to sort of, and we talk about Chris all the time, Chris Doe, because Chris Doe is essentially an introvert. And what is it? What does he go? A loud introvert? Is that what he's called? Yeah. Where he said, and I've heard him say this on multiple occasions, that he purposefully puts himself in situations where he has to be extroverted to challenge himself. Mm-hmm. And Karielys, with the courses, with the classes, with the decks that she's building, with the lives that she does, with the Instagram post today, even just today, she was recording this video that she had like the tripod like facing the thing, and she's just recording the whole thing, and I'm like, this is gonna be like a 20-minute, like, who's gonna watch this sitting on their phone? Just incredible. It's just incredible what you've done, and you stepped out of your comfort zone, because there is no success in safety, and just playing it safe and staying in complacent. Maybe that's a better word, in complacency. You have to be uncomfortable. That's when you grow, and you have to stretch. And I feel like you've done this. I'm pretty sure you've done this on purpose, because you know you have to do it. But you've stepped out on your own to do this stuff. So if you join the class, first of all, the classes are, I plug the classes. They're really affordable. I will always say everything's too cheap, but they're really affordable. You guys should see the classes and how she just crushes it. So my role in this situation is just to support her and just be like, let's go. So it's like I'm able to like use this equipment that we have here to set up for the class. But it's just so well done. The content's really good. Everything's really good. And this is just the start. You just started. Like, would you say you just started this year? Like, really?
I think, yeah, actually putting boots on the ground, I would say this year. But I've been formulating these thoughts for years. And
so what made it, okay, I got to start. What was it that got you to that point?
Well, I think, okay, I can answer that in a very complex way or very, I guess, simple. The complex way was I was led by the Holy Spirit, which is
Oh,
our
wow.
belief system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I was at VU, I'm still at VU. When I say when I was at VU, I mean when I was the full-time creative director
Right.
of VU Church.
Right.
Right now, I am a remote creative / art director for VU
Right.
Church. So that's all I did. I really gave it my all, 100%. Although I was already formulating a lot of these thoughts, and I would spend time teaching the team the things that I knew. So the creative brief class that I taught on Tuesday, I taught it to the team.
So cool,
The
man.
creative process that I
Yeah.
developed in our studio, I taught it to the team. So I did that there, but my time was all VU. When I felt led to transition, I started working actively on actually developing a plan.
Right.
Now, I think it was last year, practically, something happened in December. I don't remember what it was, but it put a fire under my booty. I think it was maybe something.
Well,
It was a goal. No,
Oh.
I think it was it was a mixture of like a goal of mine
Okay.
and finances,
Mhm.
starting a new year, where I was like, I need to prove this to myself. I can't keep like delaying this thing, because I had a period there where I got paralyzed. I got so insecure and so into my own head in comparison that I did not do anything for a few months.
Right.
And I had to overcome that. And so in December, I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I have all the content and material. I'm gonna use what I have, the same way we started this podcast.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm just gonna do it. And I put it out, and 30 people showed up to that class.
Yeah. That's right.
And it was awesome. And I was like, I did it. I proved it to myself. And so now I'm like, okay, let's do class number 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do class number 3 soon.
Yeah. Let's go.
And then just little by little organizing it and figuring out if I repeat some of the classes, if I just keep teaching new things. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
It's incredible. It's incredible. There's such a big learning there. The same thing how we started the podcast. Because if you guys go back to episode 1 to now, we improve. I think every episode we improved. And just because we took what we learned from each and just fixed it, now it's like we're kind of like in a groove. But that starting is the difficult part. And Kary, you started with, I remember this. I remember you're like, I just got to get this done and I'm going to just do a live class. I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, and she's working on her website and building everything together. Like, you're awesome, man. And just like, you're a badass, bro. Like you sit down and you're like, I got to get this done. And you get it done, And she's there working when the baby's asleep and putting the website together. Just really such a really, really good job.
Thanks,
And it's just cool to see where you started. And I mean, you're still early in the beginning,
Yeah.
but how you've improved,
Yeah.
over time.
Honestly, I just feel like, I don't know why my whole life has been this. It makes me emotional. I've just always been really insecure and scared.
Yeah.
But I have like these big dreams. So it's like, do I stay small and scared, or do I go for the thing that I feel like is burning inside of me?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, everything that I've done in my life has been that. It's like, it's been so hard. And the hardest part has always been believing enough in myself. I'm working on that this year. Pastor DC, she shared recently how she was like, I think a goal of hers last year was to keep a promise to
Let me get your
herself.
tissue. Keep going.
It's fine. To keep a promise to herself. And so that it inspired me, to like do that for myself. But the one thing that I'm like really actively working on is believing in myself.
Believing in yourself.
I don't know why I have a hard time believing in myself and believing that God can do things through me. So
Right.
having courage and dreaming and
Yeah.
having vision. I can do it so easy. I could do it for you.
Yes.
I could do it for Vu, for Pastor Rich, DC, my friends, for Yessie. I'm like, Yessie, let's do it. But for myself, I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let that, get in my way. So my journey has always been kind of mixed in with like this personal development
Right.
of like overcoming and proving to myself,
Yeah. Sometimes we talked about this earlier this year, there was a shift. I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm remembering now. There was a shift in our home about certain things, and it may have been with finances. I think you said it could have been finances or something like that. But we started doing the Bible plan. I've never done that before, to kind of read the Bible throughout the year. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start it. And I realized it's like I've never done this before because I'm afraid of not finishing. So it's like, why am I even gonna start? Which is such a backwards thinking. Sometimes you just have to start and then have people around you that encourage you to keep going. And there's something that I always talk about Crystal, but it's just like he's been such an impact in my life. But something that he had said, whenever you're negotiating pricing for other people, it's way easier. So if I'm representing Kary and I'm her manager and I can go talk, get a project for her, easy. No, Kary's rate is $10,000. It's, I don't know, $500 an hour, 10,000 flat or whatever. And this is just the value because of X, Y, and Z. But when you do it for yourself, it's like all the syndromes come out. Everything comes out. You know what I mean? Like all the different kinds of syndromes. But it's really cool to see it and experience it with you, and just from like an objective perspective, because I feel like you're for me and I'm for you. So it's like you see things in me that I don't see because I'm deep in my imposter syndrome, and it's the same thing for you, you know? So I think it's important to surround yourself with people that will champion you, that will be there for you, that will encourage you, that will challenge you. Not necessarily just celebrate you all the time, but that will challenge you, like how we challenge each other. And of course, we're married, we're partners, we're in this together, but it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be friends. It could be people, colleagues and stuff, you know? So
absolutely.
Really well done. Really well. I'm excited for what's next for you.
Yeah, I'm excited for myself. And I'm excited for you.
I just want to retire and you make all the money.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Maybe. It'd be nice to retire early.
Nice. House husband. You know?
But I do want to say that you launch things like nothing. I've never seen you be... I've seen you be insecure about certain things, never about launching something. You launched a studio. You launched like your own company. You've had different things like your radio show and like, I don't know, these different websites like with your DJing and stuff. Sure. You launched Gaia. Like, and when you did those things, you were never like insecure about it. You just did it.
Yeah. So
that inspires me because I'm like, this guy just puts it out there under his name.
It could be.
And you're proud of it. Like you really attach your name to it.
That's true.
And so why can't I,
Yeah. I never really realized that. I feel like it could be a certain naivete. Is that the right word?
Well, good, because at least you do it.
I'm like, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into kind of thing.
It's kind of like what you were saying earlier, like starting ideas. I don't think you think about it that deep.
Sure.
I think when it's like keeping the idea alive, that's what's hard for you. That's what's easier for me.
Right. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
So I think we complement each other. We support each other in that very practical way.
That's true. I feel like you are really good at being consistent with certain things. And on my turn, probably one of my strengths is probably like, all right, let's launch.
Yeah.
But my weakness is...
Exactly. My weakness is your
consistency,
strength.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
My weakness is your strength and your strength is
exactly. So I'm glad that we're able to kind of hold each other accountable and help each other. But
so
what about anything you wanted to add? Because I have another question. Okay. What about next season? Like what are you looking forward to? Not just Made in House, but I know you're working on the courses and you're working on some new things, but I don't know, one thing that you're looking forward to next season.
Next season and what
yeah, because we're already going on Q2 for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we're already going on Q2. So we're already on the second half of the first half of the year.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So
for the second half maybe of the year.
Yeah, for the second half, like after June, like what are the things that you kind of want to have done or that you're excited for?
Yeah. Well, I would like to have more clarity on the teaching program and have it more systemized. I do think that I need to build out another component of my business that drives traffic into the courses, because just once your course is complete, it doesn't mean that you're done. It means that the work actually starts, because that's where you have to market and talk about it and bring people along in the journey. So I do think I have to build another component of my business. It's going to help drive traffic to everything. So I'm excited about doing that. I'm excited about a mentorship program that I just launched it, and I have to keep working on it.
Wow.
But it's like one-on-one mentorship under the umbrella of Hazy. So if you're familiar, I've developed this concept of hazy life, and it just means like
Clear the haze.
Like when you're doing new things, there's fog in front of you, and we need to clear out that fog to get through so you can see to the other side. So I have Hazy Talk, which is my newsletter every Monday, and then I just put out Hazy Chat, which is a one-on-one mentorship program.
That's so cool.
So it's under this umbrella of Hazy Life.
Yeah.
And
you have the domain and stuff of all that?
I don't know, because you know what?
I'm
tired of paying for all these domains.
Guys, we got like 100. He's like, I got a good idea. We got like 100 domains.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And I do want to do. I want to make things under my name. Like I actually want to make products.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Like
so
like physical products.
Yeah, like shirts. Like
Cool.
for fun though, not like an apparel business.
Like this guy does.
Yeah,
this
like,
is his brand. Forces. This is a studio.
But more fun, like as like my own creative expression. And
Wow, that's new. I did not know this.
you know that urban. I won't say the full name. I feel like I'm getting more clarity on that.
Okay.
So, but I think that's a 2025
Sure. Oh, nice.
thing.
Very
So that's
cool.
what I'm looking forward to.
Good.
What about you?
Good. Well, I'm excited. By the way, I'm excited for you. I like the mentorship, the Hazy Chat. It sounds really cool, and it's 4 letters and 4 letters.
Yeah.
Really good. I actually want to. I feel like I started in 2001. It's really weird because I how many years ago was that? 23 years, right?
2001.
So 23 years ago is when I started my journey in design, but in print, right? And I sound like an old head. I feel like I've been around 20 plus years in design. No, I've only been really doing good work maybe 10 years, maybe, you know?
I would say more than 10 years. I would say 15.
Maybe 15 years,
Yeah.
but like really cool work, you know? And then the last 5 years or 7 years, really dope work, like some of my favorite projects. But I do feel like I'm at a time in a season in my life and in my career where I want to design for fun. And I want to help businesses through the power of my brain.
That's how you said it.
Through the power. Like, I have this thing called Design Detective. Like, I want to be Miami's Design Detective. Like, I was telling Kary, it's like, I want to go into a space, analyze, diagnose what's going on, and, like, provide solutions, but not necessarily have to do those things. Like, I've been actually doing testing, not mentorship, but coaching. And I don't like the word coaching, guys. Creative coaching is just, or coaching, everyone's a coach, right?
I know, but being a coach is dope.
I know, it's kind of cool.
Like, think of like a football coach. Some of these coaches
that's
are
what
like.
I'm saying. Like, if I was like a creative coach, and that's really what I would, something that I would like to jump into. It's like, hey, let's talk for an hour or two.
But for you, it's not for creatives. It's for businesses.
Yeah, I would say it's for businesses. Yeah.
So like a business creative coach.
Yeah, it's for businesses. I could do creatives as well. I mean, but mostly it's like, yeah, like say like Ralph. We love Ralph the Wongs, and he's one of the execs at Los Ranchos. And if he were to be like, hey, can you come in here and like, you know, look at the space and see how we can improve, and I can ask a bunch of questions and kind of see where we're at and coach them into the right direction as to what can be done or the possibilities that can be done, you know? So I've learned more and more in our career that there's not just one solution for everything. There's multiple avenues that you can take. What we want to try to do is take the best lane to get to that goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, long gone are the days where I'm like, I'm the expert and I'm like, this is what it is and whatever. It's a collaborative thing. It's funny because we go through our season. It's like, I remember when I first started, I was like, I thought it was the best. And then I was like, we went through a season where you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, I don't know what I'm doing. There's so many better people than me. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm an expert, but now I'm at this someone. I'm like, yes, I know, but I think it should be, let's collaborate together. I have answers, but so does the client. The client may have answers that I don't have, you know? So that's kind of like where I want to venture into. And I'm just going to say that particular one, because I have other Goddess of Designer goals that I have that I want to hit. But that's something in my heart that I want to try for next season. And I think it's doable. I think that's achievable. I think that's a smart goal that we can, I think you and I can definitely get to.
I think collectively, we do want to do more creative retreats for each other.
Yeah.
And get out of our environment and ideate and work on these things that we're talking about.
No reason not to. There's no reason not to.
Right. And we're going to wrap up the episode with what are we doing for season 3? So this is episode 10 of season 2.
Correct.
This is the last episode of this season.
Right.
We've been doing the show for 10 months.
So it means we're going to start season 3 at the year mark, probably.
Almost, yeah. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in about a month. And I'm just going to share what you think of your answer for season 3.
Yeah, give me something.
So I was talking to Angel. I really want to try and figure out a way of getting more creative with the podcast, with our show. What I mean by that is I like challenging myself, and I like thinking of like different ways of doing something. And I would love to not just have like a sit down convo. I would love to try things where we're like, maybe we're working and having a convo, or we're driving, or I don't know, more like lifestyle things, but while we're still having like long format conversations. I just want to like maybe try different sets, and because all that to me is like fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I want the show to be a creative expression and presentation in totality of who we are and where we're at, you know? So like, I think for me personally, I'm going to challenge us to like not do this for a whole other season.
So are you saying to get out of the house? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. Yeah. I just get like a little bored.
I understand.
And it's really important for me. The reason I do any good work is because I've always challenged myself.
Sure.
And so I think there's an opportunity for us to do something really special in this space for you guys, for this community, for ourselves. And I want to keep like exploring.
Yeah,
and, like,
I love that.
Yeah.
I think we live in such a vibrant city that we can do stuff in different parts of the city and go out.
We forget we live in Miami.
And we go to our friends' businesses and maybe do stuff there. I think I agree with you for next season. I like to do some after hours stuff where I can just turn on the camera and just like, let's talk about different things and do segments and stuff about music. There's other things that we want to try out. The main issue here, guys, is just the setup. And we'll probably do an episode on just the setup alone, because I've gotten questions as to what we got and how we did it. I'm a graphic designer and we're not video editors.
I play no part in this
setup. So I just tapped into my friends and they helped us, you know. But I think that's going to be really cool. So
look forward to season 3, and we'll be back in about a month, 4 weeks or so, for season 3, the year mark. And we're going to be celebrating, and we're going to keep having conversations for us, for our community, and championing creativity.
Let's go. As always, keep making beautiful things.
We love you guys.
And the best things
are made in house.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for joining Made in House on your way out. If you would be so kind to follow, subscribe, and or like our episode in the relevant social media platforms. Feel free to share this episode with your colleagues. And, as always, keep making beautiful things.